Good morning, traders. Well, it appears that Nvos is the big mover of the day. It's going in and out of suspension. It is the number 1 top gainer. And this morning around 4:15 a.m., the pre-market list organized by volume, the Nvos was number 3 on that list. And that is reason enough for me to put it on my watch list. It must be in the top 3 and also have a low float of 100 million shares or less. And Nvos met those requirements, so it went on my watch list. Although I didn't trade because yesterday I was having some technical problems and decided not to trade for the rest of the week because of that. But let's take a look at the daily chart first. You can see that today, this is today's candle. It's selling off right now, which is no surprise. But it's trading with tons of volume today compared to what it has been. This is 5 million shares being traded. And then yesterday, 55,000 shares. And it just kind of goes down from there. And it's never really traded with any considerable volume. All of a sudden, volume comes in, and it's a lower float stock. So, of course, the price is going to go up. Let's look at the 1-minute chart and look at some possible entries that we could have taken. So this yellow line establishes the high of the previous day. This is the high from the beginning of February. But right at the pre-market open, right around 4 a.m., it broke out through both of those highs. So just the fact that it broke out of the previous day's high and the aftermarket high, that is a signal for me to look for an entry. And I would mark this candle out as point A, and then this one here is B. And now we're going to be watching the candles form, and we're looking for a 1-minute candle to make a new high, and that would be my desired entry. So you can see as these candles are forming, the tops are lower lows, so there's no entry yet. And then finally here, going from this candle to this candle, this one makes a new high, so that's where I would get in at. Right now the spread is showing 0 because it's suspended. But around this time, the spread was pretty wide. It was probably around 20 to 30 cents. So it's likely you would have got filled near the high of this candle. But even if that were the case, like let's say you got filled at the very top, 630, and the bottom of this candle here is 525. I'm looking at these numbers here while I'm hovering over the candles. So let's pretend the entry is 630 and the stop loss is going to be 524. So 630 and 524, so that puts our profit target at 842, and we would have gotten filled and never hit our stop loss. 842 is right around this area. It would have just taken 3 or 4 minutes and you would have had a really nice 2-hour trade. But again, I wasn't watching it at that time, and I didn't trade this morning. When I pulled this up, it was around 8:15, so this thing was already in a big run. And I was kind of interested to see what happened with it because yesterday I was trading RETO and I missed the first couple of entries because of the technical issue, like I said. So what ended up happening was I waited for the stock to kind of finish its run and then enter on the first pullback. So I wanted to see what would happen if I did the same thing here, and that's what these lines represent. So this is kind of the first big run, and this is the first serious pullback. You're getting 3 candles of a pullback here. Everything else was 1 or 2 candles. And what happened was this candle made a new high, so that would have been the one that I entered on. So let's say I got the ideal entry, which is very unlikely because look at the spread right now. It was like that this morning. But if I got the ideal entry of 1420 on this candle, and my stop loss would have been 12.79, so that puts my profit target around $17.01. Which looks like I would have gotten filled, but it's kind of, that's just purely theoretical. If I would have gotten slippage on that entry, the target would have been around $18, and I definitely would not have gotten filled. But even if I got the perfect entry, it's still not 100% if I would have gotten filled, because I bet you that this movement was very fast, and there's always a chance that it pops up and comes right back down, and you don't get filled on an entry like that. So I would kind of consider this a failed trade, and that's why I don't like taking these later entries. Like if the stock comes back down, and as long as it doesn't go below the point A, I like to take the very first entry when a 1-minute candle makes a new high, because I think there's a lot more room for price increase at that point, and that's what happened here. So anyway, I thought that was very interesting. This thing continued to run up really, really high in the in the pre-market, and my plan and strategy has no way of taking advantage of all of that. But if I were you, if you're a newer trader, I wouldn't worry about trying to catch these crazy runs like this, because this happens probably maybe 1 out of 25 or 30 times that you're going to be watching low float stock like this, that they actually make some kind of crazy move like that. So if you get in the habit of thinking that every stock might actually do that and you start scaling out, you're just going to end up leaving tons of money on the table and getting stopped out of a lot of trades. And anyway, so this thing goes up all the way to $42, comes back down, and I don't think it's obviously throughout the day it's never gotten anywhere near there. So this is a lesson. This happens a lot as well, is when these stocks make these crazy moves in the pre-market, they almost always sell off during the day. And that's exactly what happened here. So hopefully there's not too many bag holders that got in, really high up here. But I mean, this is why you use a stop loss. Like, let's say, for example, that you missed all this stuff and you started watching this stock around 615, and you said, okay, wow, this was a crazy move. It's obviously bullish. Let me get in on the first pullback after this move. So here's the first pullback, and then this candle makes a new high, and it definitely doesn't go to 2R on that candle. But if you're trading properly and you put your stop loss at the low of that candle, you would have been stopped out here and you would have had a very small loss. If you decided to hold and hope and said, well, this thing is going to continue higher, I know it, look where you are now. So this, if you got in here, you're in around $40, and right now this thing's trading around $6. So that's what, like a $35 loss per share. So hopefully that's not going on with anybody out there. But anyway, I thought this was a really interesting mover today, and hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see my daily trade recaps, please subscribe. Those will start back up again at the beginning of March. So I'll see you then. Take care. And always remember to always honor your profit target. Always take your stop losses no matter what. And in the long run, you should be green.